Well, I'd say up to you. If you want to drop this in a week, let's drop it in a week. If you want to drop in October, let's drop in October.
We got some time though.
Up to you.
We could splice it. We could do
Splice
bits
it?
and pieces.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
just talk, and you can just cut it into whatever you
You know
want.
what we do? We'll finish with some dumb questions, some dumb fun stuff,
course.
and we'll do
Yeah.
that, and then we'll release the album stuff later on. That's the way we'll work
All right.
it.
Beautiful.
So
Cool.
for everybody playing at home, you'll see this part in a few months.
Stick around, wait for then. As I said, we've had the album for a bit now,
Awesome.
and my God, you've done it. This is
Yeah,
like
what do you
a
think?
new height for you guys,
Yeah.
man.
Sweet. I'll take that.
It's-
That is the goal. Sweet.
We said this from the moment we checked out Riptide. It's so exciting to see this level of positivity in the heavy space from you. I
Dude.
think it's like a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
And it's cool to see, like, obviously you guys are known for having some pretty emotional, like, dark stuff.
Oh, yeah.
To come back from that with the absolute flip side and bring it to a better level is fucking sick, man.
Thank you very much. That means the world. Thanks. Yeah, that's all I really could hope for. I mean, I didn't even expect it to really happen until it just kind of life slapped me in the face, and you know, after a year and a half, this record showed up. So like, yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
And the best part about it is it's not even like, you know, a lot of heavy music, because it's so abrasive, you really need to pay attention to what they're saying to get the positivity from it. But yours is just, it's blatant, it's right there. It's like, this is feel good shit.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
was it hard to be able to do that and still sound like Beartooth and still sound like yourself, but interject that level of positivity and still make it sound like it fit within your catalogue?
Right. It definitely took some finesse. I mean, there was a lot of experimenting. Like, Riptide happened pretty fast. And to be fair, a lot of like the songs, like lyric and melody and kind of what the songs were about happened pretty quickly. But how to fit that into like the Beartooth catalog sonically definitely took some work. But I don't know, like, it was really fun. I mean, I experimented with a ton of different things, and then at the end of the day, you know, I was just kind of, well, there was the period of the record that happens every time where I'm completely losing my mind, and I'm like, this is all garbage, what am I doing? No one's gonna like this. Is this any good? Is this not?
Staying positive.
Yeah, the usual stuff. Just questioning everything, and then, yeah, like, my manager and some of the guys in the band were just like, just make a Beartooth record. Like, what are you freaking out about? Like, it ain't broke. Like, just do what you do. You've done this so many times. And I was like, it hit me like an epiphany. I was like, oh yeah, I can just make a Beartooth record. And then the music part really just flowed after that. I just took the pressure off myself and was like, just write what you want to write. And like, I love writing heavy stuff that moves and is fun to listen to live. And so like, the subject matter was there, you know, the hard part was done, like kind of figuring out the story of the record. And then I just was able to.
Is that
write
the way
some
you
fun
normally structure your writing? You'd write like the lyrical content and then go to the music, or is it normally
polar
reverse?
opposite?
Yeah.
That's a total first. So like, I mean, sometimes I will have a concept lyrically and then, but you know, go with that. But for the most part, it is almost always I'll like come up with an instrumental, and then kind of come up with lyrics and melody and like the mood that fits that, and then track the vocals, and then go back to the instrumental and rework it from there.
Okay.
Instead of, but this one, yeah, it was almost every song was lyric and melody, and more than anything, just what am I trying to say? Like, what is the song about?
Yeah.
Really? Like, what is the point of me sitting down on my notes app or in front of my computer in the studio? Like, what am I trying to get across and out of my mind and into this thing? And just focus on that, and then just let the music come later.
Is that something that you've, you know, like had to sit down and really think about and struggled with it all in the past, or has it just been because you've gone for this different approach?
It all just, I don't even know. It all kind of happened very, like, it was a good flow to it. It just sort of came out. Like, I can't even, it's hard to explain how this record happened. I mean, there was a lot of like ups and downs, but to me, the best way I can describe it is it really just feels like these songs wrote themselves. Like,
Cool.
I don't even know. It felt very like I don't know, man. There was some, very organic. There was some like serious universal interjection and like just some cool energy throughout the whole thing, and I just kind of like let it flow. And
I think that's a really good thing for people to hear as well, because, obviously, music fans are the biggest critics in the world because we have such an emotional connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear, like yourself saying, when people hear yourself saying, it just kind of fell out of me. There was no premeditated sort of, this is where the direction's going to go, this is what I want to write about. And I think that genuine, just letting it all fall out of you is the most honest you can be.
It was cool. It was very much like a combination of that. So like, I think the intention I had was just, what did I want to say? And then from there, it just, because that's something I haven't been super intentional about before, is like I would just kind of let whatever was said fall out of me instead of being like, this is what I want to say, how do I want to say it?
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like that, being intentional about that, let the flow of it let it flow so much easier. So yeah, like intentionality. Whoa!
So now we're back.
Looking dope.
Damn.
Thankfully it still looks good. So yeah, we're good. Damn. But yeah, and then all of a sudden the lights came on and we had the record, and that was it.
When it comes to the writing process, because you do most of that, how does it go when you come to the band and be like, hey, this is where I'm coming from, particularly like the imagery and everything that's come with it? You've gone for this really bright, vibrant, matching the energy of the songs. Mm-hmm. Was that at all a conversation of being like, got to get you guys on board? Were they just like down for it?
At this point, I feel like they just know me really, really well, and they always understand where I'm coming from and what I'm doing. And obviously, they're along for the process, and like I had a session out in LA, and I flew the dudes out just to be there in the studio, just to like hang out and like just be around. And I don't know, like, it's hard to explain, but we all are very in tune with each other, and they have a lot of like understanding for kind of whatever I'm trying to say and whatever I'm trying to get across. And they're very supportive of me.
Cool to have that trust as a group. Like the writing process, I know for some bands can be quite like conflicting. So you guys gotta, like, just go and do your thing and know that like they know you and they trust in you, what you're doing. Yeah, that must take a lot of pressure off you.
Yeah, it really does, man. Like they're. I know that this situation is not the average band situation where it's like, it's me in the studio doing the thing, and then when we go out on tour, it's the five of us. But we just keep things very black and white and very open, and they get it and they're down.
Sick.
Yeah.
I want to go back to where you talked about kind of coming out of like the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So many of the bands that we've spoken to in the past like year and a half have come back with their most like angsty, aggressive, emotional music. Mm-hmm. You've kind of come back with the flip side of that, of like the most positive. Do you credit that to like your self-transformation during that period? Like some people like took the pandemic and then their writing was like, well, this sucked, and that's how I'm writing how I sucked.
Right.
Whereas it feels like you're writing of how you've grown through that instead.
Yeah, I think that like Below, the record before this, was definitely the like pandemic album. So I had written most of that record, at least. So I'd written like all the music pre-pandemic. Yeah. And then pandemic hit when it was time to write all the lyrics.
You're just like, right, oh boy.
Yeah, so it's like that's kind of the beginning of the pandemic, like me in that hell. Like that is what that album is me kind of sorting through that and like in the middle of just being an absolute mess in so many ways.
You can definitely hear it.
Yeah,
which is good.
And it's very unapologetically that. And I definitely still think that record's really important in the catalog and for my life, like to be able to have a place where I could talk about that really openly and candidly. I do think it was important for people to know that, like, they're like, yeah, we were all feeling that way. It was just gruesome. Whoever you were, whatever your, walk of life you were in, the pandemic affected you in a really negative way. Just period.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
You've always been like, I've listened to a lot of your chats that you've done, and you've always been very, very open and transparent about things you've gone through, how you've felt, how you've, the shit you've copped, and all this sort of stuff. Do you think it was important when you sort of had this life-changing sort of moments or moment, if there was any specific one. Do you think it was important for you to, as an artist that's got a lot of people that look up to him, to actually present that to your fans and, as a healing tool for them? Did that ever cross your mind?
To be completely honest, it just kind of happens because of what Beartooth is. So Beartooth, I mean, at the core is just me talking about what I'm going through on the deepest emotional level, really. And like the personal things in my life, and it's my kind of cathartic way I sit down alone in a room and I hit record and I can say whatever I want to say and I can write whatever I want to write. So like, I think that just sort of happens just because of the nature of the beast. But I will say, like, it was a little more on my mind making this record. Like, as much as when I'm doing Beartooth stuff, I'm honestly not in a headspace where I'm thinking about writing for other people, because I know that if I do that, it's a weird thing. Like, if I'm writing songs trying to think of what other people are going to want, it's not going to be right. Like, it's not going to be true and it's not going to be authentic. And in turn, they're not going to like it. And they're more so just going to be able to see that it's kind of bullshit. So, like, for me to just be able to sit down and write truly what I'm feeling, I think at the end of the day, that makes for a better thing for other people to hear. And they appreciate that a little bit more. But I will say for this record, it was definitely like, I was really happy, when I would listen to the songs afterwards and be like, I'm very ready for people to hear this. To like have this to latch onto instead of seeing, because I think why Beartooth has been relatable is that I've talked about the really difficult things that I think a lot of people go through that are not talked about too often, and they appreciated that and respected that. But now it's like, look, we're in a new chapter of life and we have been through that, and I've written so many records about that. And I'm in a new place, so like I need to be honest about that new place.
Yeah, you don't keep writing from it.
Yeah, and it made me really happy to be able to like know that I'm writing songs that other people are going to hear that are a little more positive.
Yeah, I think it also shows people, if they are going through a lot of shit, the value of doing the work and actually putting the effort in to get yourself into a positive space.
Yeah, dude, the work. Putting in the work is everything. That is the shift. That was the whole change. I thought I knew what work meant, and I've always worked very hard with a lot of things with Beartooth, but not on myself. Like I let myself kind of get run over in the process of working so hard. But flipping that hard work into focusing on myself, I mean, it really just bleeds into everything else in your life. Like, me cutting out being wasted and adding exercise, it's like just on a foundational level, my chemicals are going to be more balanced. Like, trying to just be.
Hear that, Johnny? Maybe exercise
I saw your face light up. So he's the non-drinking fitness guy.
Sure.
I'm the smash beers, get fat guy.
Yo, hey, there's a place and a time. Don't get me wrong. I had a blast in my 20s.
I'm fun.
I had a blast. But yeah, it's like, for some people, I just can't continue on doing that, unfortunately.
How quickly did you notice the difference in that from when you stopped drinking and started focusing on exercise? From like not like your physical well-being, but like your mental shift?
Very quickly. So I started trying to really chase physical health, but while I was still drinking. And so it was like, it was a slow process. So I would at one point I was going to the gym, 4 or 5 times a week, and then only drinking on the weekends. And then, but then I'd kind of slip into my old habits and I'd be drinking, a couple cocktails before I go to bed. And I don't wake up hungover, but I'm like, I'm going to the gym and I don't have that gas that I really need, and I just don't feel great. And I will say, like, no doubt, for me personally, when I cut booze, it really changed a lot. And I know I do not have the same, chemical makeup that everybody has mentally, which is totally cool. But, for me, it was essential.
Yeah.
It really helped me. It just gave me the tools to, just be able to be exactly who I wanted to be. I've struggled with self-image a lot, as we all have. And that drinking was just really in the way of a lot of things for me. Like, it was a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fond memories with booze, but like, at the end, there was no positive anymore. It was only taking away. And the stability that, for me, that comes with exercise, like exercise, sunlight, breathing, it's remarkable what it does for me in my makeup. It really is. It's crazy. But yeah, like right when I stopped, I mean, a week later I wrote Riptide. And it was like this revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty intense.
It is something, as just said, like I don't drink, I never have. Mm-hmm. And fitness is also like what I do for an actual job.
Yeah.
And so like it's always so interesting to me to hear from people's perspectives who have come from one side to the other and be like, man, this is what happens now. Because I'm like, this is how I've always felt. Like I've always had constant energy, and a lot of people are like, that's just who you are. But like, no, I think it's just because the habits I have.
No, it's the word.
It's so interesting.
It is, and I truly do believe that. Like, I mean, you can. A lot of people say it's genetics or it's this or that. It's hard work. It is hard work.
The face stayed beautiful the whole time.
Hey, come on now that's what my mama did.
Do you have a specific routine that you do every day, regardless? And how do you keep up with that between home life and tour life?
I try to have a routine. I will say though, I've let it slip. I mean, literally even 2 shows ago, 40 minutes before we were on stage, I was bawling my eyes out, curled up in a corner in the bathroom. Like, it can happen, it's not just like this magic thing. It is work. It takes work. And, for me, if I let it slip, it goes quick.
Snowballs.
It really does. And like, I will say when I'm on tour, I got to choose my battles. Like, I've had shows where I've pushed it way too hard working out before, and I've noticed it on stage. Well, I do a lot of core stuff because, on stage, I'm basically just going for, an hour and a half or an hour or however long it is. So I really focus on core. I very much believe that's like kind of the center of all things. It's like, that for me has changed a lot. But yeah, I've had my times where I overcook it and I'm up there hurting. But yeah, I don't know, like cold showers, cold water, cold plunge, whatever you want to call it. I'm a firm believer. Okay. At least for me, that is like a massive thing that gets me back in line.
It's become very popular too.
Yeah, it really has.
Like, fuck that. It's 5 a.m., dude.
It is gnarly. I like to do it after I work out, but like, I will say, for example, I was freaking out, and then the next day I was just like, dude, what are you fucking doing? And like, did some breathing exercises, took a cold shower, and I could just immediately feel my endorphins change.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like, I could immediately feel it. And it was a very good reminder that like, dude, you're not just the same as everybody else in certain ways. Like, it's okay that you're like this, but you need to put in a lot of work.
Yeah, and I think the presence of mind to be like, that you need to do the work.
Yeah.
It's one thing to know it, but then to actually follow up on it is like, that's the hard part.
Exactly.
You watch me now, like next time I'm having a bad day, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to do what Caleb said. Jump in a cold shower and just get angry. Dude, straight to Instagram, you son of a bitch.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, deep breathing is fucking awesome.
Like,
just like,
do you like Wim Hof and things like that?
Kind of, variations of that, but just like big fucking, take like 10 deep breaths, take 30 deep breaths, take 100, take 2. It doesn't matter. It really does like help kind of slow things down. That plus cold is top notch.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
How do you go with diet on the road?
Diet on the road, I really try to keep it like Whole Foods is just kind of my thing.
Yeah, cool.
So like, I eat animals, but I try and be very diligent about like happy animals that lived good lives, grass-fed, you know what I mean? Like really good stuff, organic fruits, things like that when I can. But a lot of the time, I mean, it's tough on the road, but like
Australia's a good place for that.
It honestly, I will say, it's been killer. So like a lot of the hotels have had little kitchen setups, so I'm able to go do a little shop. But at all times in my backpack, I have some kiwis, bananas, peanut butter, honey, salt, like a nice pink salt or rock salt or something. And then that's just, and then I get my protein where I can. And
cool.
Yeah, that's it. But I like, obviously I'm not like, militant about it, but I can tell when I start to slip.
You can also
like,
see a change like in you physically. It helps that you don't have a shirt on in most videos, but you can like physically tell exactly what's going on and see the transformation in you.
Yeah.
And I think I said it maybe with one of the first videos, being like, you can see that it's transformed. Like you're smiling so much more, and you can see that not only like you're like more confident in yourself, you feel better, and that's like resonates out, which I think is a cool
really
thing.
does. I mean, it's just empowering. Like that's why I never wear a shirt anymore. Is because I'm like, look, this is something that like I wished and never thought I could do since, I've always struggled with weight. I've gone from, like I was a really chubby kid, and then, I've gone from 260 to 160 back to 260 to 220 to, where I'm at now. I've been all over the place. But yeah, like what you eat does a lot, which I did not really realize. And I love going nuts and having my times, but like since I've really been focusing more on what I'm eating, I notice a lot more of the effect that like going off the rails has. If I have like 3 or 4 days where I'm just not really caring, like it messes with my head. Lottie!
So you probably got a lot of people that are watching this going, this motherfucker sounds way too put together for a rock star. Give us your guilty pleasures then, your indulgence when it comes to food.
Oh, when I'm going for it, oh my God. There are some days off I had this day off in Austin that was fucking incredible. I had like 6 fucking donuts at 2 a.m, laying in bed watching YouTube that night. I had a whole bunch of barbecue. I don't know. I honestly don't have that much of a sweet tooth, but like.
It's a bear tooth.
Yeah. Hey.
Sorry, I had to.
Wow.
Fuck's sake.
Wow.
Why?
That was quick. But I don't know. I've been on a donut kick lately.
Hey,
Donuts.
speaking my
kick
language,
ass.
yeah.
Donuts, ice cream. Love ice cream. That shit rules.
Wish I had more time here. I'd binge out with you. And then we're gonna train.
Pizza. Yeah. Hey man, it doesn't matter as long as you're using it.
Yeah, that's
whatever.
exactly it.
Eat whatever you want.
I want to get back to music since we did way too much. And before we start doing the fun dumb stuff,
yeah.
Have you got a favorite song on the album? A song that means the
Oh,
most to you?
I was going to ask that.
Beat you to it.
Ooh, man. That is a tough call.
Yeah,
I think
I
the
know.
song that means the most to me is I Was Alive, the last song on the record, for
So
sure.
happy about that.
That song is like, that's a song I never thought I was ever going to write in my lifetime.
My favorite song.
And
Wow.
Thanks.
But
That's
I think
really
it's made
cool.
my favorite song of your catalog.
Yeah, I think it's the most important song of my whole catalog, just based on like kind of what it is and the whole. I didn't even really plan on it being on the record, but it was just that last minute like, what's one more thing you got to say, and it came out, and that song is for sure. That's
The
the one.
structure of that, I feel like, I just called Johnny as soon as we got the album. I was like, have you got the last song yet? He's like, I haven't got there yet. Because I wanted to talk about it, but so I get to talk about it now. Which is cool. That, to me, I feel like showcases you and your talent. I'm just going to make you something going to like really suck up here, but like, it shows off your vocals so well, and the songwriting ability. I feel like there's so much space given. It builds. It has this like, it's such a good climatic finish to the record.
Thanks, man.
Record?
Yeah.
I'd learn how to speak just before.
Professional.
Thank you. Yeah, So, I mean, historically, Beartooth's, the last song on every Beartooth record has been, like, brutal and hard to listen to and borderline not enjoyable. But they've been very important. They've been, like, me just really throwing it all, caution to the wind, and just, like, letting out that last thing of, like, what do I need to let out? Like, what am I really trying to do with this album? And that's kind of always been the last song. And yeah, so the last song on this record is, I'm very glad that it's just the polar opposite. I didn't plan on it being the last song on the record. I thought for a long time, Look the Other Way was going to be the last song on the record. But also, part of me when I wrote that, I was like, I kind of want that in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, I think that should be in the middle of the
it's a good
album. And then I Was Alive happened, and it was just a no-brainer. It was like, finally, like, this is it. This is what this thing is all about. This is the whole point, is like, just completely do the polar opposite of what every other Beartooth record has been. And
it's funny because it's by far like not the heaviest on the record, but it's like the most anthemic and like feel good.
For sure.
Which I think is such a kind of a testament to where the direction goes. Like even like the first, one of the opening lines of the very first song, you reference like the previous album below the
Yeah.
surface, I think you can see it build and kind of go through there. And as I said, like I called him straight away because I was like, fuck, I want to talk about this.
So the difficult one then,
Sure.
gun to your head, if you had to get rid of one off the album, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know. Well,
Like
that's
this-
the thing is I
we got
already
Bad
did
Cop.
that. That's why it's an
Oh,
11-song
yeah.
record. Every Beartooth record's been 12 songs, and
So the
there's-
next B-side they hear is going to be the one that you cut.
yeah,
It's the deluxe.
yeah,
It's
kind
always
of. But like, yeah, that's always been. I feel like after the record's done, and I'm sitting with it, I'm always like, there's like one song that it maybe just didn't really need to be here, and yeah, I just was like, look, all killer, no filler, like just make
Sum
it happen.
41.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. That was the motto. Well, I don't know. I mean, it got to my head. If I have to cut one, I don't know. Oh, that is so difficult.
I'm so sorry for
I
making
know.
He'll go up on stage and you'll just see him sitting there tonight.
I
going,
mean,
Fucking Johnny.
I will say My New Reality is probably the biggest departure, but I think that song is really crucial to the album, in my opinion. I wrote that with a hip hop writer named Story, who's incredibly talented, and the story of that song, funnily enough, is that like the point was that writing with a hip hop writer, hip hop is very, very confident and very like just fuck you, I am the shit, which
Yeah.
is rad, and I've never ever had an ounce of that in me, and like, but that's so much of confidence is so much of what this record's about, and so like we'll go with that. We'll say that was like the biggest departure, but in a way I think that's incredibly important to the record, so I don't know, it's a tough
So you're
one
a
to
jerk
cut.
for making him do that.
I'm
It's a
so
tough one
sorry.
to cut,
I'm so
but
sorry.
yeah.
Look, like as I touched on before, you've always been really transparent about your feelings and everything you've gone through, and even like throughout your catalog, there's some pretty gut-wrenching songs that you can tell like really hit you. Is there any of the songs that you find really hard to play live for that reason?
These days, not so much. I mean, for the most part, playing live, I'm really focused on other things. Like I don't know. It's hard. It's very hard to put into words, but like most of the songs, and honestly, a lot of them I had to kind of learn pretty quick to be able to like turn it off and be able to just like perform and focus on my performance, because if I get too deep into it, like, yeah, it's just kind of it's just a black hole that sucks everything in and
Just sobbing on stage every
yeah,
night.
it's just
No
not
one
good.
needs
And
that.
I've been there, and it's like, I don't need that. You don't need that. Like, you know.
This isn't what you paid for.
Yeah,
I'm
no
seeing
doubt.
grown men crying on stage.
Yeah, like we want to have a good time. Like you didn't pay however much to just watch a dude just burst into tears. It's not ideal. Anyway.
Yeah, well, some
Yeah,
people might
no,
enjoy
that's
it.
a fair.
I'm
That's
sure
a
it'll
very
go
fair
viral.
question, though. Yeah.
All right, so do we want to ask him some dumb stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the interview. We've done the part that you can't hear. Wait till October. For now, we're going to talk about dumb stuff.
Let's do it.
What do you want to do? Just some would you rather?
We'll give him some would you rathers, and then maybe we might have to test he's been here a few times, we might have to test his Aussie knowledge.
Oh yeah, have you got that on?
Boy.
I don't have my phone, so you have to take that.
boy.
I reckon I've
Yeah,
got to
you
do
have
something.
been a few times. You might be a candidate for this one.
Yeah.
No one's had much success with the Aussie trivia, but we'll blame Johnny for that. He asks hard questions.
Let's give it a shot. Let's see what we got.
All right, do we want to start with the Australian stuff?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do a couple of that and a couple of it, and we'll
All right.
have to probably duck off because he's got some music to play.
Who is Australia's most successful band?
Record sales.
Record sales, AC/DC, right?
Well done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nailed that one straight away.
My favorite band.
For
I'm
a
big
little bonus question. What country did they never have a top 20 single in?
That I genuinely have no clue. I mean, not even a guess.
It's America.
They never had a top 20 in the States?
No.
What?
I know that's
Back in
still-
Black is like, I believe now it's like the third biggest selling album ever. It's like Eagles' Greatest Hits, Thriller, Back in Black, or something like that. And I didn't have a top 20 in the States.
I feel like that's
Wow.
that album though, and the songs on it have been used in so many things, so everyone knows them because they've been in like however fucking many movies.
Yeah.
But I guess that when the single came out, it just didn't sell to America in the way it did.
That's
to
fair.
other places.
Yeah. Wow. I can't believe I didn't know that.
Give us 3 Australian actors.
Give us
I'm
one
already
Australian actor.
One Australian actor. Give us an actor. I literally am just
When we say them-
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Someone Hemsworth.
Yep.
There's 3 of those. Those 3. Liam
That'll do.
Hemsworth, right? Isn't that his
Margot
name?
Robbie.
Margot
Barbie.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
of
going to interrupt
course.
this. I want to bring it in. Was there any thought with marketing record about
Dude.
releasing with Barbie?
Literally, absolutely not. Like
Because
it-
we asked that in the
So I
reaction.
always
yeah.
like I'm telling you, like Beartooth stuff is predetermined so far in advance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I knew that this album was going to be Pink for a long time.
Okay.
Way before, but it literally just happened to all like the
yeah.
universe
Same
just came
week
together.
of release.
It was so funny, but I'm here for it. Like
Yeah, I
I'm,
thought it was. I was
I'm
like,
here for the
if
Kenergy,
that's-
like no doubt.
Energy.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Have you not seen that?
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I've only
Yeah.
heard about it because I
went and watched
when
the
I
movie.
posted the Pink, there were people were saying Big Kenergy. I was like, cool.
Be honest with us. Is that where the fitness journey you were hoping to be Ken, were you?
Yes.
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 Pulled off quite well, I think.
Yeah.
Only problem is he doesn't know who Margot Robbie is, so.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, who? They're like, oh, well.
Yeah,
Gosling
that
it
was
is. Okay. Australia is home to the world's deadliest spider. Do you know what it is?
It's not a wolf spider. It's a. No, I don't know. Black Widow? No, that's American. I don't know.
I like when people like talk their answers out loud. And you
I
see
know.
the
I'm
thought pattern
trying.
going.
The wheels are
Yeah.
churning. Yeah.
It is the. I mean, where's my? I was going to try and find a picture of it. It's the Sydney funnel web spider.
Funnel
Yeah.
web spider.
Yeah.
That
They
sounds
look.
terrifying.
They look fucked up.
It's a
Funnel
nasty,
web?
It's a nasty looking.
Does not. That sounds like some Spider-Man shit.
I don't think you'll get powers from it. You might get a little bit.
It
you'll
wouldn't
get a
go
little bit
well.
ahead.
Die.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
not go away. Yeah, the power to die really fucking fast.
Sydney funnel web spider. This is great content.
Yeah,
Great. It did that as well.
nailing it. Nailing it.
So it's
Oh my.
yeah, it's this bad boy.
Don't love that. Not a huge fan.
Yeah, no
Would
one's a
not-
fan of that.
Would
No.
not want to be stuck in a room with that.
No, it's not a good time.
No.
Okay. What is a golden gay time?
I
This
mean,
is-
does anyone know these answers?
This
Yes.
is ridiculous. You've been to Australia many times and you've never had a golden gay time. I would love to give you a golden gay time.
What is it?
It's an ice cream.
Sounds sick.
It's
Let's
really
do
good.
it.
Well, it sounds sick now, doesn't it?
Well, I was just like, I have no, I don't know.
Whatever, man, let's
I
party.
don't know. Yeah, I'm here to party, man. Let's have a good time.
All right, last one, and I think you're going to get this. Which famous Australian coined the phrase "crikey"?
Oh man, fucking. Was it? It's the alligator dude, right? Steve Irwin.
Yeah, close.
Was it
We'll
Steve
give it to you.
Irwin?
The
Steve
crocodile.
Irwin, yeah.
Yeah,
Well
crocodile
done.
dude.
All right.
Yeah.
Crocodile dude.
Well done.
Alligators are not.
We've
yeah.
got one final question. This is a question we've asked every guest.
Yeah.
It's the divisive one. You're going up on stage tonight. You're warm, you're comfy, you're dry, you're in a good mood, you're ready to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put on cold, wet socks or cold, wet underwear. What do you choose and why?
Careful, you have to do it tonight.
Okay. Probably cold wet underwear because I feel like that would be waking me up more than cold wet socks would just like bum me out, and I feel like cold wet underwear would just be like, okay, here we go, let's fucking come on,
That's
and
the
then
first
I
I've
gotta
had that
warm it up
answer.
quick.
That's the first time we've had that answer. Everyone was like,
The-
I'm already sweaty. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Nah,
That's what everyone sounds like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like that.
In a weird way, it might be kind of nice.
Yeah. I just think about chafing. You're moving around a lot on stage.
Ooh, no, yeah, bringing chafing into it. Well, don't get me wrong. I am basically, when I get off stage, it's like I just got out of a pool. So I'm used to being wet.
Yeah, but at the end
All
of the set,
over.
you've worked up to it. To start off with, I don't know.
To start off with, that is a good question. Or that is a good point. No, I'd go with the cold wet underwear.
All right.
I'd
You're
try
thinking
it
about
once.
it now. I can't wait to see like on the internet like weird rider requests. Caleb from Beartooth, cold wet underwear.
Cold wet underwear. Must have a freezer for underwear.
Like cold shock therapy. It's just going to it in every
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah,
like your plunge
that'll
pool
wake
thing.
you up.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, before every show, I soak my bandana in ice water. That's
Really?
Yeah.
I saw a cool thing. It's you might like this. So it was a dude. It was a TikTok video, and the guy goes, he got a metal bowl, and he fills it with water to like this much, and then there's about this much space at the top. Freezes it, and then he said every day he gets it out, pours cold water on top, and then comes back, has a shower, comes back 5 minutes later, and it's become like an ice bath. And he's like, he sticks his face in it,
I've seen that.
and apparently because that's where a lot of the like heat receptors are in your face. He's like, it essentially gives you the same equivalent of having like cold showers.
Yeah.
And you don't waste ice because you just refreeze it every time.
Yeah.
No way.
I have
Genius.
seen that. I've not been trying it. I've just been doing the cold showers. But like when I get home, I've definitely thought about doing that.
It's a cool idea.
Because I want to get a cold plunge, but they're like so fucking expensive. I'm just like,
And the upkeep of the ice and stuff.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But like that sounds like something I could get behind. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's your
Love
hot
it.
tips.
More you learn.
Thank you so much for hanging out.
Yeah.
We're
Thanks for
stoked to
having
have
me.
you
This
here.
has been like a fucking really fun interview.
We've been
Really
trying to get you on here
enjoyable.
for a while. Well, we've wanted to get you on here for a while.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Well, honor to be here. Thanks for having
Thank you
me.
very much,
Thanks,
man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And appreciate you. Woo!
Hey, before I forget, I just remembered I have something in my bag.